the future. And now, first, I like to introduce myself. I'm Novita, and I will host you for today's event. Now, let me welcome our special guest for today. Welcome to the Honorable Dr. Joseph Teguh Santoso as a Rector of STEKOM University, Indonesia. To the Honorable Associate Professor PhD Iryna Chuy as a PhD in Economy, Associate Professor, Department of Finance, Economy, Security, Banking, and Insurance Business. To the Honorable Mr. Kilo Oktansky as an Associate Professor of the Department of Economy and Economy Security. To the Honorable Dr. Muhammad Noorulfakhri bin Yaacob as a Senior Lecturer, Computer Department, Faculty of Intelligent Computing. And to the Honorable Associate Professor PhD Rostyslav Zatserkovnyi as an Associate Professor. And last, Miss Erlinda Soliha as a Lecturer of Management Department, STEKOM Indonesia. And last but not least, also to the honorable guests and audience today. Okay, before we begin, I have a few housekeeping notes here. Today's session is being streamed on the Universitas STEKOM YouTube channel. And for today's event, we will start with Indonesia national anthems. In the next session, we will begin the main event presentation by our special guest for today and continue with the Q&A session. Take a picture for documentation and last time is closing. Okay, first we will sing our national anthems for the Mr. Abdullah. You can start the session. Thank you. Okay, thank you so much for Mr. Abdul. Okay, now let please welcome our first presenter, Associate Professor PhD Iryna Chuy as a PhD in Economy, Associate Professor, Department of Financial Economy Security. The time is yours. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Let me share my presentation. My name is Iryna Chuy. I live in Ukraine. I work in the Department of Finance, Economic Security, Banking and Insurance Business in Lviv University of Trade and Economics. It is my pleasure to see you and to talk with you about the money mindset shift, transforming habits for smarter spending and saving. The main topics I plan to discuss are the financial literacy, how to improve our financial knowledge, and 4 personal finance competencies. These topics are very useful for everyone's everyday's life. So let's start. The financial literacy is defined as a combination of financial awareness, knowledge, skills, and behavior necessary to make a financial decision and to achieve financial well-being. Here you can see a research of OECD for 39 countries. The overall financial literacy score from 0 to 100. Higher scores reflect higher levels of the financial literacy. The overall average financial literacy score is 60 out of 100 in 2022. The financial literacy score depends from the score of financial knowledge, financial behavior, and financial attitudes. The financial score, knowledge score is 63. The financial behavior score is 61, but the financial attitude score is the lowest, 56 out of 100. Financial knowledge is defined as having a basic knowledge of financial concepts and the ability to apply numeracy financial context, skills in financial context. Financial knowledge allows individuals to manage financial matters, compare financial products and services, make correct financial decisions, and to react to events that could affect financial well-being. As you see, the average financial knowledge score is 63 out of 100. Levels of financial knowledge are highest among the Hong Kong, China, Germany, and Estonia, but the lowest are in Indonesia, Cambodia, Philippines, and Romania. This graph displays the percentage of adults who answered each financial knowledge question correctly. The adults have the best financial knowledge in a field of inflation and the loan interest, but they have poor knowledge in understanding simple and compound interest, as well as in risk diversification mechanisms. Financial behavior is the second part of financial literacy. It shows how correctly the adults act according to their financial knowledge. Some individuals put off bills, do not plan future expenditures, or choose financial products without shopping around. These decisions may negatively impact on individuals' financial situation and well-being. This behavior includes keeping track of money flows, savings and long-term planning, making considered purchases. The overall average score is 61 out of 100, with highest level in Malta, Saudi Arabia, Germany, Ireland, and Indonesia, but the lowest is in Yemen, Hungary, Albania. Financial attitudes are the third component of the financial literacy. The OECD definition of financial literacy recognizes that even if individuals have the knowledge and ability to act in a particular way, their attitudes towards money can also influence their decisions and behavior. The overall average score is 56 out of 100, with highest level in Thailand, Spain, and Albania, and Indonesia, and the lowest is in Yemen, Saudi Arabia, Lithuania. The questions about financial attitudes include agree or disagree with the following statements. I find it more satisfying to spend money than to save it for the long term. I tend to live for today and let tomorrow take care of itself. And money is here to be spent. Do you agree? Could you please write your answer in our chat? Let's check your financial knowledge. There are 7 questions from 7 topics. You must answer to 7 financial knowledge questions. Answers must be written in the chat. You can choose answer 1 or answer 2, and it will show you what financial knowledge you do have. You can say, I save this list of questions. If the answers are difficult, then you need to get these answers from the special literature. It means your knowledge is poor and you need to study much more. Part 2. Now we are going to talk about improving your financial knowledge. We will talk about how to manage your budget, how to use a credit card to achieve your dreams. We will talk about cashless payments and bank in a phone, and about personal credit history. If you manage, how to manage your money budget. Here is an example how to plan your own budget. For example, how much you can save if you give up 1 cup of coffee a day for 1 year. Coffee costs $2, for example. If you take $2 times 30 days times 20 months, you will have $720. What if you put it on a deposit for a year receiving 2 interest rate? It will be extra $14 or 7 extra cups of coffee. Money management is about budgeting or organizing money to achieve a planned financial goal. Money management is about developing your habits, good habits. This process can be compared to counting calories. Many people tell from their own experience that when they started counting calories, they began to eat from 20 to 30% less. Money management helps to analyze how much money you earn and spend so you can plan future expenses. Using money management has some advantages. Firstly, budgeting increases the amount you can invest. Secondly, a joint budget helps to avoid misunderstandings between partners. Thirdly, with a budget, you can achieve your goals faster. And finally, we can calculate the structure of expenses in percentage, such as part for basic living needs, part for leisure, part for savings. Good habits are: write down your every week payments. When you write down your expenses, you start spending more correctly. Use your smartphone or mobile application. For example, Money Manager, Moneyfy, Money Pro, Spender, Wallet, Mono Budget, Pennies, OneSec, Money. It will help you to plan your expenses for food, bills, accommodation. Money Manager application will show you at the end of the month what you spend, where your money goes, and which of your expenses are completely unnecessary. Here, here the advantages why to manage money. You will see when and from where your money appears. You'll see the structure of your income and spending. You will be able to plan your expenses and you will need less loans or take them in a smaller amount. You will be able to manage your money, so this will bring you a certain stability and peace. How to plan our expenses. There are many theories to plan your own budget. First is 4 envelopes. If we have cash income, we put money for all fixed expenses into first envelope. These are rent, utilities, smartphone, internet. Into the second envelope, put money for all the necessary expenses. For example, food, transportation, clothing. And into the third envelope, we must put an amount for unforeseen expenses, which is at least 10% of all expenses. The envelope number 4 is for savings. If your income is in non-cash form, then I advise to plan your budget according to 50-30-20 system, which means 50% of your budget should be spent on basic expenses, rent, food, transportation. Another amount of 30% can be spent on your wishes, vacations, books, entertainment. The last 20% should be set aside as savings and for unexpected uses. Try it and you'll see that such planning will allow you to leave about 10 to 20% of your budget unspent, so you will have extra savings. How to manage our daily expenses correctly. Write down the shopping list so you won't spend extra money for things that are not necessary. Use bonus cards and loyalty cards. It seems that these are not huge amount, but calculated the amount for a year, the result can amaze you. For the same reason, use cashback on your bank card. Cashback is a return of a part of the expenses for purchases with a card. What is more important, plan big purchases for sales seasons, for example, for winter or beach equipment. Let's move to the practice. When you receive your salary, balance your budget and put at least 10% aside for savings. It is important to keep them properly. Besides, you already know how much extra you've spent on coffee, and you can put another $734 to your envelope. The basic rule of savings is to save as soon as you receive income, not after spending. In financial science, we call this rule pay yourself first. What for do we need savings? Savings is our airbag. I mean a financial security cushion for a period of 3 to 12 months in case if there will be no income during the whole period. We can spend this money only in emergency situation, for example, for medical treatment. If you stop receiving income for some reasons. Second, having saved money, we can have them for the future big expenses, for gifts, summer vacations. How can we save our money? Hide it under the pillow or on the shelf between the books, or let it stay in my pocket. I'll put them into the safe and hide the keys in the safe place. No, I will transfer them into the bank deposit right away and earn interest. How much can we collect within 1 year? If we put an amount of money on a free deposit, we receive more than 2% a year. And that's all thanks to budgeting. And another question, how can I protect my money from inflation? Saving should be invested in different financial instruments. The first is a deposit. So saving will work for you and will create additional income and will be partially protected from inflation. In fact, there are many other instruments how to save your money. Do you know any other? We can use securities, bonds, investments. But using them, do not forget about risk that they can cause. How to use a credit card to achieve your dreams. We are going to talk about what are the advantages and disadvantages of a credit card, how to apply for and receive a credit card, how the borrower is checked, and what amount is offered by the bank. That what is a credit limit and a grace period. A credit card is your assistant in achieving your dreams to reach a freedom for buying goods and services even if you do not have money for them. Are you interested? Let's start. Before we start, let's talk about the responsibility. Our purchases, their numbers and size are limited only by the credit limit. At the same time, every bank willing to have more clients proposes secrets how not to pay extra. For example, if a client buy goods through the internet or through the terminal, these are utility bills, internet shopping, payments via terminal. Payments with credit card differ from the cash loan. A cash loan is a money of or goods loan on a term of return, a specified period with the payments of interest for the use. A regular loan is given by bank for a fixed period of time. You have to apply for a loan visiting a bank branch. In another hand, a credit card is issued once and you can use it until it expires. The amount of card limit depends on person's credit scoring, which is based on his solvency and reliability. To receive a high card limit, you should be a reliable borrower, have a confirmed income, and have a stable job. The credit card secret is a grace period. In my country, we have from 50 to 60 days of grace period, which means you do not pay any overpayments if you using bank's money during this period. So the grace period is the period during which the credit card holder uses the bank's money on the credit card, and if he returns it on time, does not overpay. By the way, you have to check all the rules how to use a credit card. Here you can see advantages and disadvantages of credit card. Advantages of a credit card are no time limits. You can use it as long as it is valid. Best for urgent and daily spending. Has a grace period, so you do not overpay if you return it on time. If you pay with cashless payments, so you do not pay a commission. Disadvantages of a credit card are: you may be denied a card if you have a bad credit history. A good credit limit will be given only to reliable borrowers. If you do not return the money you've spent on time, you will pay the interest, a lot of interest. A credit card is not for a shopaholic. Remember, if you need a cash from a credit card, it will cost you extra from 4 to 5% in my country of withdrawal amount. Here you have a checklist of questions when choosing a credit card. Availability of and duration of grace period, interest rate, fee for cash withdrawal and for transferring money to another card, fee for replenishing a credit card through a bank cash desk or terminal from another card, fee for card servicing, commission for debt service, availability and cost of additional service, for example, insurance, how interest is calculated, ability to connect and cost of access to internet or mobile banking, viewing the card balance, how penalties and percent are charged in case of late payments, and the opportunity to change the limit in internet or mobile banking without contacting a branch. Step 3. Cashless payments and bank in a phone. Using a cashless payments means you're going to be digital. So you need to remember about risks. Protections is very important, taking into account the fraud, criminal activity, and even theft, when your card might be stolen. Keeping cash is dangerous because of the possibility of stealing. Money gets lost or stolen. Did you know that Ukraine is one of the world leaders in contactless payments? According to the National Bank of Ukraine, more than 55% of Ukrainians are using a phone, watch, or fitness bracelet. Keeping money online is safe, modern, and convenient. There are 3 steps how to convert your money into internet money. First, get a card at the bank. To apply for a card, you will need a passport, tax number or social security number, registration information. If you want a higher credit limit, banking asks you some additional documents, for example, statement of your income. The second step is use your phone, download the Apple or Google Pay application. And third step is add your card to your e-wallet. Your money is online. The advantages to keeping money online is cashback. Banks, shops, and services are ready to return up to 20% of your purchase amount. If you want your payment to go through as quickly as possible, pay with the phone by holding it to the terminal. Payments are made using NFC technology. Bankers say the transaction is 10 times faster than any other types of payments. Another feature when paying with a smartphone, you do not have to touch the terminal at all. So there is no bacteria, no coronavirus. This technology is not only convenient, but also safe. There is no need to give the card to cashier, no need to press the keys, no need to touch the terminal. Pay contactless, keep your distance. Let's finalize. Keep your money online, it is convenient. They are always with you. It is quickly and safe. The money that is on the card will not be stolen. Pay with the gadget. It is fast. What is important but I didn't tell? Let's talk about risks. The most popular risk in a personal money management are security, of internet payments, financial fraud, and bank default. Another problem is about how to protect yourself. Every credit card has 16-digit number indicated on the front side of the card, the owner name, expiration date, 3-digit verification code on the reverse side. It is used for online payments. PIN code, known only by card holder. It is a secret code when withdrawing cash from ATMs and card payments. An additional element of protection can be 3D secure system. It is when it is connected, the bank sends as SMS with a password code to the cardholder's phone to confirm online payments. These are rules for the secure payments. Do not tell anyone your PIN and 3-digit code on the back of the card. It is useful to change a PIN from time to time. When you buy goods from websites, make sure that they are safe. Create complex password on the phone if you plan to use it for payments. Access SMS notification about card transactions. It is quick way of informing about changes in card account. Internet banking is one of the types of remote banking services. Access to accounts and transactions is provided at any time and from any computer or smartphone via the internet. For the sites, they can be checked for safety. Set limits for credit card operation in case of loss, so no one can use it. Set up double authorization for online purchases. Before using the ATM, inspect it for presence of any additional devices that do not correspond to its design and are located close to the place of entering PIN code or area of accepting the card. Sometimes scammers call to citizens to find out the PIN code or three-digit code of the card. Remember, bank workers do not call to clients to find out any personal information or card information. Step 4. Does anybody know when the person was denied a loan? Such a situation isn't good. The reason might be because of a bad credit history. There is someone who keeps records of all loans and whether they are repaid on time. Usually it is a credit bureau. A credit history is information about loans and their repayments, discipline that banks and financial institutions submit to credit bureau. Who can have an access to our credit history? Your potential employee, also bank or other financial institution to which you applied for a loan. Having a good credit history, you have a better chance to get a loan. It will help to get a larger amount or more favorable terms of the loan. When do you need to check your credit history by yourself? When your documents are stolen or lost. It can help you to check whether a loan was issued for you. Then you can respond quickly. If the history is not good, you can take a few steps how to improve it. The repayments of loans will improve it. Having some overdue debts, pay them off. Reduce the number of current loans. And part 3. We will define 4 personal finance advices, how to build a system that works for you. Imagine the situation: you work, earn, sometimes save, or even try to invest, but there is still not enough money. Savings disappear faster than they appear. Investments seem risky or are constantly postponed for later. Every financial decision causes tension or doubts. This does not always mean that you are doing something wrong. Often the problem lies elsewhere. Your financial system is incomplete. You can upgrade one skill, for example, how to earn more, but without comprehensive approach, stability will not appear. We will find out which exactly 4 competencies form the financial system. We explained each simply and clearly: earning, management, thinking, and investing. Check your system, a simple test for quick self-diagnosis. This is what forms a sustainability financial model. First is money making, how to earn more. It is not just about working more hours, but about a strategic approach. How to support? Develop your competencies. Look for cross opportunities. Update your revenue plan quarterly. What to do? Write down your top 3 sources of income now and think about which of them you can scale. Focus not on the number of tasks, but on the action that give the greatest result. The second is money management, how to manage money effectively. Discipline is very important. Budgeting, cost control, planning, financial goals, and building reserves. Without this competence, even a high income can disappear. This is competency about how to save and control what you earn. How to support. Add a monthly expense analysis and think about how to further optimize the budget without losing quality of life. What to do? Start keeping a budget for at least a month. This is a simple but effective first step that will immediately reveal problem areas. The third is money psychology, how thinking affects financial decisions, beliefs, fears, emotions. All of these have a stronger impact than numbers. Your finances are directly influenced by what you have in mind. Such beliefs are: money is hard to earn, success is luck, I'm not ready for big money. These influence your decision and action. How to support? Practice a new scenario. For example, take part in negotiation, negotiate payments term, expand your financial horizons through education. What to do? Write down your strongest beliefs about money and think about who or what shaped them. Move to a more open position in small steps. And 4, money investment, how to increase capital and build assets. This is a long-term financial strategy, creating a portfolio, finding the right tools and regular investments. Investments become your success when they work systematically, not chaotically. This is competency that allows your money to work for you. How to support? Refresh your knowledge and adjust your strategy depending on market changes and your goals. What to do? Set yourself a 30-day challenge. Define a minimum goal and take the first step. For example, open a brokerage account or invest a small amount. What is important? The system works only when all 4 elements are integrated into your financial behavior. To summarize and understand your real situation, take the basic check. Check the health of your financial system. Responsible habits are: smarter spending means smarter savings. And the conclusions. The money mindset shift is about more than personality prosperity. Smarter spending and saving habits create transparency. Financial discipline supports security and reduces fraud. Strong money habits mean stable economy and fair system. Benefits of a money mindset shift for individuals are better savings, less debt, financial stability. For business, stronger financial planning, transparency, reduced risks. For the state, higher tax revenues, stronger security, and reduced fraud. And for the society, trust, growth, and resilience in financial system. Thank you for your attentions. Here are my contacts. I hope this lecture was interesting and useful. And remember about home task. Check the 7 questions and answer the right one. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for your presentation, Professor Iryna. And we have three questions from participant. First question, how does our mindset about money influence the way we make financial decision every day? The question already read in the Zoom chat also, ma'am. Thank you.
The reason for why to make a mindset about the money influence, it can change your everyday life. If you save or first you earn correctly and spend correctly, it will help you to be proud of yourself first, because you start saving, you will have some extra money. You will be um, full of money for the future, and you will be independent. You will check your expenses, you will try to earn more, and it will be for you more convenient and transparent in the future to spend your money correctly. Is it enough?
Yeah, okay, thank you. And then the next question, could you please share how gratitude and contentment play a role in developing a healthy relationship with money?
Uh, in a in the personal finance, it is important to take care about own security. Usually, we have some shocks that can influence on your everyday's position. These are money drains, or what is stealing your money in everyday's spending. For example, hidden fees uh, or wealth killers. You pay extra fees for something you do not need, and you have to check all these things correctly. The second is inflation, because money lose their values, and even if you have savings, they become less in their amount. So you have to invest for the minimum percent to save your money from inflation. And the third is money pit. It means, for example, all house that cost you a lot but do not earn nothing, or everyday unnecessary spending. It is very important to have a shopping list and to not to spend much money for these purchases.
Okay, thank you. And then the last question, how can mindset shifts help us overcome the fear and guilt often associated with spending or saving? Yeah, thank you.
You mean a fear or to be guilty for yourself for extra spending? You mean this? Um, First of all, sometimes my students ask me when you have to plan your budget or to make it correctly. So you do not have to buy things that you want. You have to save every day and take your money for the future. I say not at all. You have to budget your money. Budgeting is very important, because when you have a list of your earning and spending, you can see what is important, what is necessary, but what is taking your money, stealing your money. That's why to spend, you do not have to feel guilty. You have to spend properly. You have to plan your expenses. For example, you know all the birthdays of your family, of your beloved. You can plan these expenses from the first month to last month. It will help you to save a small amount of money for present, for example, but not to spend too much for one month. You have to budget. You do not forget you are young. You have to live, you have to spend, and you have to have satisfaction from your life. But it must be done correctly. That's my answer. Be happy with your money because your emotions about them are very important, but they must be planned correctly. That is the rule.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for answering. I guess no one else asking again. Thank you for your time,
Thank
Professor
you.
Iryna. And we will go to the next speaker for Associate Professor, PhD, Rostyslav Zatserkovnyi. He will presentation regarding Kickstart Your Coding Journey, build a strong foundation in programming regarding webinar in Monday. Yeah, thank you. For Professor Rostyslav, the time is yours. Thank you.
Yeah, just one thing to quickly clarify. I did adapt my presentation to today's subject, but it does include some coding aspects as well, which we will cover in a later section. So let me move to my presentation. Just one moment as I set up. Okay, you should be start seeing a screen share. So, hello everyone, and thank you for being here. And my name is Associate Professor Rostyslav Zatserkovnyi, and I am very happy to welcome you to this session. It's a hybrid session, so something for AI meeting personal finance. So personally, I worked both as an academic and in industry, and throughout this talk, I can actually share something very practical, how modern AI tools, what I specialize in, can help you manage money smarter, even if you're not into finance or programming. So we will start with small things, the basics of tracking where our money goes, and then build up towards more advanced tools like ChatGPT, spreadsheets with AI integration, and at the end, we are going to have a session with lightweight Python analysis. Of course, this coding part of the talk will be beginner-friendly and fully reproducible, so it is nothing to worry about, even if you're not familiar with Python. So by the end of this talk, you'll hopefully walk away with a set of tools and habits which will make your financial life more predictable, less stressful, maybe even a bit more interesting. So first, a few words about myself. I am an associate professor at the LUTE University of Trade and Economics, so that's the same as my colleague, who had just presented. And at this university, I teach courses related to data, automation, and AI. Now, at the same time, I work as a staff machine learning engineer at Grid Dynamics, where I help design production-level AI and data systems. In fact, my current job is to help programmers at a large website, a large car shop, help more efficiently do their job with the help of AI. So because of this combination, being both a researcher and an engineer, I've actually seen firsthand how AI can dramatically simplify tasks which used to take hours. And this actually includes financial planning, budgeting, even simulating investments. It's something I use in personal research a lot, and I'd say I'm pretty passionate about the topic, as AI makes many subjects, including financial literacy, much easier to learn. So that's the perspective I am bringing today. It's sort of grounded in practice and research, and it's based on real-life tools which anyone can use, both on a PC and even on a phone. So, why does this matter? Well, let's start with a simple observation. Students around the world can relate to a very similar financial reality. They have studies, loan payments, maybe rent. They also have part-time income, scholarships, side gigs, maybe grants come in if you're involved in research. And this money is spent on a lot of different services, so e-wallets, food delivery, public transport, and on top of that, living expenses are actually quite significant in major cities, which are often university hubs. And so this can create a feeling which money just disappears every month. And many people are not sure where the money goes or are not sure how exactly they are spending it. And that's phenomenal because we don't usually track it so well. So the first goal of this talk is to show you how to regain that awareness. But there is also a second reason why today's subject is important, and it is that AI tools have actually reached the point where they can help you build good money habits without needing some kind of complicated spreadsheets, formulas, or financial knowledge. So nowadays, AI can perform tasks like summarize your spending, track patterns, suggest budgets, explain financial concepts, and even run some advanced simulations, like, for example, how much money will I have if I save X amount every month. So financial literacy is not just something you learn from long textbooks, it can be quite interactive nowadays. So in this session, we'll start simple with actually just basic sheets and similar tools, and move on to more advanced tools and apps which can help you manage your finances. So let's start simple with actually just basic sheets. So the simple tools are actually often the most powerful, and a lot of people think that like budgeting means some very advanced application, but in reality, you can already gain complete awareness of your finances with a simple tool like Google Sheets or a Notion template. Notion is an open source wiki website, so either one of these can be used depending on preference. So why is this already so useful? Actually, because as my colleague has mentioned, tracking finances is similar to tracking calories. And the moment you start writing things down, even for a single week, and then you can start suddenly spotting different patterns. For example, it's possible to discover that snacks cost a lot more than someone has thought, or there is some nasty subscription, for example, some streaming website which you don't really use, but which still keeps draining money every month. So when you do this, when you record every expense, add color code categories, add a savings bar, everything becomes visual. It's like a health or fitness tracker, but for your money. And these tools are, of course, free, easy, and customizable. At this stage, minimal formulas are required. You can just log things manually. And the goal is to simply make the invisible statistics in your everyday life visible. Now that we look at basic tracking, we can actually add a bit of intelligence on top of it. So one of the sort of underrated use of AI tools like ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini is financial assistance. Now, one thing which you should not tell these tools to do is to have them invest your money for you. Because let me switch from the presentation for a moment. There is this recent infographic going around, which shows how well ChatGPT does when you tell it, here is my portfolio, here is how you should invest it. And how it does is it has very similar performance to humans in that it loses everything. So not the greatest idea. And you can see this chart where it has strong convictions about holding to its crypto no matter what. Again, not a great idea. But going back to the presentation, and let me switch to the slideshow again. What it can be very useful with is financial assistance. So helping you understand and organize your finances. So you can think of AI as a 24/7 personal finance mentor, which gives explanations, compares bank accounts, analyzes expenses, helps plan budgets, break down financial terms, and can actually answer in any language which you prefer. So either English or your local language. So many students already use AI for studying, hopefully ethically, but almost nobody uses it for money, even though it works amazingly well. And it actually can, once you're comfortable with asking basic questions, move on to deeper topics. So for example, it can explain the difference between different types of investments, like stocks, ETFs, mutual funds. It can also assume a role, so you can ask, for example, to explain like you're 15 years old, or like you're a beginner investor. It can also compare fees and show real-world examples, or maybe summarize today's big stock moments, as it has access to the current internet. And one of my favorite examples is this. If I invest some amount of money into the stock market every month for 20 years, how much will you have? And by doing some simple math, it actually shows the power of compound growth and how important it is to start investing early. It can give you this long-term prediction in very simple terms without needing any finance background. It's very open-ended, so you can follow up on your answers, ask it to clarify something, and so on. It's like having a personal teacher, or I guess a personal financial assistant. So just a great tool. Now we can actually combine these tools together by connecting AI with Google Sheets. There is an add-on for this, which I have linked in the presentation. It will hopefully be available to you later on. But yeah, using this add-on, we can connect AI with Google Sheets, and then spreadsheets actually become very conversational. So you can type into a cell, summarize my expenses by category, for example, and it's going to perform the analysis for you, so generate the relevant formulas without you needing to know the syntax or perform manual calculations, for example. And this is incredibly useful if you want to analyze your finances, but don't feel comfortable with Excel or complex functions. It's also great for people who prefer natural language instead of numbers. Now, other tools which can be used are e-wallets. So apps like Mono in Ukraine, that's the app I used, but I tried to find some local equivalents for our audience. These apps can already categorize your spending automatically. So if you don't want to maintain a spreadsheet or ask AI every week, your wallet is probably already doing that job for you. So you can, for example, open your wallet app every Sunday, look at the food and drinks, transport and shopping totals, and then take a screenshot to track trends month to month. And once again, you can quickly see how your lifestyle affects spending, so like, for example, weekdays versus weekends, and different categories of spending. And once again, how it helps build financial awareness and financial control. These apps also often have features which enable auto savings. So, for example, Mono in Ukraine allows you to round up every purchase to the nearest hryvnia, which is the Ukrainian currency, and then put the difference in a savings deposit. You can also automatically move a small percentage of your income into a safe account. So why this works well is when savings happen automatically, you don't need to rely on motivation or discipline, having to move a certain amount into savings manually each year. And the money actually moves before you even think about it. And so even something small like that can, thanks to compound growth, really grow over time and build meaningful amount of savings over months. Now, let's talk about something advanced, and I did promise a coding section in this talk, Python in Google Colab. So this is a problem I ran into myself. If your bank does not have detailed analytics, or if you want more custom insights which an e-wallets can provide, a bit of Python can give you a fully personalized sort of mini dashboard. The great thing is that Python, the programming language, is free, and Colab, the online environment, requires no installation. Typically, most banks will have an option to download all of your data, your spendings as a CSV file, a data file. So you can upload a CSV file from your bank or wallet and write some code to program different dashboards or different analysis based on the data. Now, even if you have never programmed before, actually GPT, what it does is it makes Python a lot less intimidating. You can actually literally tell it to write some code or create a budget, and it will generate full scripts for you. But of course, it's also very useful and productive, and it's a great path to have to learn Python by yourself. And it's a particularly useful skill to have if you enjoy customizing things or want a unique visualization of your financial life. You can even use something like this as a semester project if you're studying computer science or data science. So, in the example shown on the slide, we take a synthetic personal budget dataset from Kaggle, a website with different sets of data, like research, business, and load it into Colab. So the process is fairly straightforward. You install the Kaggle command line tool, download the dataset, unzip it, and load it with a data analysis library called pandas. And actually, immediately you will see a table of all transactions, categories, amounts, dates, everything. In just a moment, I will share my collab window and show you how this works in practice. And this is actually a synthetic data set, so a research data set, but it's exactly how we would work with your own bank exports. Once the data is loaded, you can clean it, filter it, combine categories, remove duplicates, all with rather simple commands. And moving on, this slide shows what we can do after loading the data. So with just a few lines of code, we calculate first the top 5 spending categories, which immediately tells you where the majority of your money goes. And then monthly spending trends, visualizing how expenses can rise or fall over time. And actually, these 2 lines of code show, I'm going to build an entire chart, so a visualization which we can use. And you might notice some seasonal changes for your situation. For example, spending more during holidays or exam periods. And then spending by day of the week. Some people spend more on weekdays, others on Sundays. And spending can reveal habits which people are not often aware of. What's interesting is actually how little code is required to get these insights, just a couple of lines for each of the insights. And these visualizations can provide a level of clarity which spreadsheets alone can't achieve, and maybe your banking app or e-wallet cannot support. And once again, AI can help nowadays refine or even make the code from scratch, so you don't need to worry too much about syntax or mathematics. And now let's arrive at the technical part of the presentation, the demonstration. So Colab makes everything extremely accessible, so you just open it in your browser like a Google Docs file, press run, and the charts, the results should appear instantly. So the notebook I'll show today is going to do just that. So let me tab out of the presentation for a minute and go into the IPython notebook. You can see that the code in this IPython notebook mimics what I have provided in the presentation. And it's a simple interface like Google Docs, where you can modify it like, once again, like docs, view, insert, and the runtime is going to automatically spin up a virtual machine somewhere in Google's cloud and run the Python code for you. So you don't need to handle any complex parts of installing this programming language or working with like virtual machines. Google is going to handle that for you. And now the first step is to actually upload something called a Kaggle API token, which is going to let us download datasets from the Kaggle website. For this, I'll just, for illustrative purposes, switch to this website, go into settings. Okay, now refresh it. Click on create new token. So as it says, you can interact with datasets to download data using this API, but we need some way to identify ourselves. Yeah, we are sure. And it's going to download a file called kaggle.json, which I will not show because it contains some private information about myself. But what I will do is I'm going to upload this file to make it available to our Python runtime. Okay. And I'm going to start by running the first cell. So as a step-by-step overview, we first download some necessary libraries. So Kaggle, which is going to download the dataset for us, OS, which in Python lets us work with files and folders, and pandas, which is a data analysis library. Now we start by uploading our Kaggle API token. So we tell the service where to look for the token, which is right here. Download the dataset, a personal budget transactions dataset. We're going to unzip it using a command from Google Colab. And then we're going to, actually, this is the first really Python lines. You're going to read the CSV file called budgetdata.csv. And dev.head, you're going to show the first few rows of it in a nice visual way. And you can see that this is how the table appears. If you look at the raw data, you can see it's just a comma-separated file. It's a table. And here it is in Python. And now let's run our data analysis. So the first kind of data analysis is top 5 spending categories. And you can see how those have been grouped by categories already. So this person in the dataset clearly spends a lot on restaurants and on coffee. It must be expensive, designer coffee, but less so on market, health, and clothing. And there are a couple of other categories in here as well. But we are only interested in the top 5, and here we already see an obvious pattern. maybe something a person needs to cut down on if they're having financial struggles. And now with just these few lines of code, so we just convert a column into a date column from strings into dates. Then we group our spendings by months. And then with this code, we do a very simple plot. And with this chart, you can see actually how the spending varies by months. You can see there are large spikes in July of 2023 and also of 2024. So maybe this person spends a lot during the summer holidays and also needs to take care of that. And okay, another bit of statistics, what day of week do you spend the most? Now, this code, I will not explain too much because basically it's advanced Python code. You can have an AI explain it to you. Or if you take a course on data analysis, it's going to become very obvious. But let's walk through it line by line anyway. In here, we convert a column called date by taking the function called day underscore name, and that's going to convert it to days of the week. Now we're going to group by days of the week, take the amount, and take the mean or average value. And we're just going to sort these values ascending equals false, so descending, and then we're going to print the results which we have got. And so by this, you can see that the spending is somewhat even, but there is a large spike on Wednesday in particular. And so once again, if this was a real person, they would maybe get the idea that they do something on Wednesday, which makes them spend a lot of money and review their spending habits in this way. And now going back to the presentation, to the slideshow, actually we are on our final slide. And so as for some conclusions, we have covered some simple financial awareness habits, how AIs connect as personal financial assistants, integrating GPT with sheets, e-wallet analytics, automatic savings, and a short session which I will gladly accept questions about how Python can give you your own custom financial dashboard, typically regardless of what e-wallet or bank you are using. So if you have any questions about these tools, methods, I'll be very happy to answer. You can contact me anytime on Gmail and LinkedIn. And the main takeaway is that financial literacy nowadays, it's about being in control of your data, being aware of your data. And today, AI makes the control and knowledge more accessible than ever. So thank you all once again, and I wish you all some confident financial journeys ahead of you.
Okay, thank you so much for your presentation, Professor Rostyslav. And we have two questions from participants. First, how can beginners stay motivated when facing challenge or error while learning to code? Thank you.
Okay, so that's a great question about sort of motivation. So I'd say the greatest solution to this is to just basically, first of all, you need a structured sort of a curriculum. So it's nice to start out with a website which will sort of help you out with certain types of errors. For example, it's very common at the beginning stage of programming to get stuck like installing environments. And it's nice to have a website like Code Academy, for example, which handles that part for you so you can focus on code itself. Now, of course, it's important to understand like errors are actually a normal part of programming. It's not a sign that you are bad at it. And in fact, they should be treated as feedback and sort of next steps instead of like failures. For example, from my side, if I run into an error in my code, it typically just points me at the next thing to do. I don't see it like as a failure of the code. It's just sort of part of the challenge. And of course, it's nice to celebrate small wins, which is, again, why it's nice to use these sort of gamified websites like Code Academy, more than equivalents, because they make like even small wins, like just printing hello world or fixing some missing bracket feel like progress. And if you have this kind of progress built up after a few weeks, it's going to look like, a lot of check marks, a lot of lessons solved. And I think it's highly motivational. It's what I used about a decade ago when just starting out programming.
Okay, thank you. And then the second question, in your opinion, what are the most common mistakes that new programmer make and how can we avoid them? Thank you.
Yeah, so one common mistake for the current year is actually overuse of AI tools. Now, I did just have a presentation about how great they are, but this is in the context of sort of a more experienced programmer. If you simply use the AI tools, you aren't learning much at the beginner stage. And so something I would definitely do is use it like as a personal mentor, to ask it open-ended questions, but never ask it to write any code or to fill in assignments for you, for example. It's basically it's too good at its job, and it's just not going to help you personally learn. And it's still a limited tool, so you can run into some issues if it doesn't do what you want. Now, assuming you're not overusing these AI tools, then some common mistakes are like trying to jump to advanced topics before basic programming, and then also not reading error messages, or actually, as a previous question, treating them as failures. So beginners actually can tend to panic a bit when they see an error, but typically modern software is telling you exactly what went wrong, and so slowing down to carefully read the error message can often solve the problem. And of course, as I mentioned, copying code without understanding it from places like Stack Overflow, again, at the beginner stages, not a great idea. It can work in the short term, but then you can have some huge issues if you run into problems which you can solve by copying code or using AI. So a better approach is to just reuse these kind of solutions manually and ask yourself about every line. Why does this exist? Why was it written this way? And this way you build some genuine understanding.
Okay, thank you for your answer, Professor Rostyslav. And we will go to the next speaker for Miss Erlinda Soliha. The time is yours. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Honorable to all speakers today in international webinar, and to all participants today. I'm Erlinda Soliha, SMM from STEKOM University. Today, we will discussion about financial well-being, the future of money habits for young generation. Maybe from before me, from the speaker can do about explain about financial and integration for AI. And today I will discuss about financial well-being, the future of money habit for young generation. Okay, next. Okay, for the first is how the financial well-being understanding for here is financial well-being is crucial for student success. This presentation explore how shifting mindset and building smart money habit can transform financial education. We will examine key challenge, necessary mindset change, and strategies for fostering long-term financial health. And focus today for young generation, of course, for student in college or in education. Okay, next. Financial well-being fundamental. Okay, next for the first. How about the fundamental for financial well-being? The definition and key component that financial well-being means having control over day-to-day finance, resilient against shocks, and freedom to make choice that allow enjoyment of life. Key components include financial security, available resource, and confidence in money management skill. What the mean in here that we know that financial well-being can be described as having three core components. For the first, having control over daily finance. So second, the capacity to oppose financial shock, and third is freedom to make choice that allow enjoyment of life. For students, maybe specifically for young generation, this component translate into being able to manage allowance, cope with emergence, and make spending decision confidently. And in here, financial well-being influence more than just economic outcome. It affects student performance, stress level. So the other is persistent in their studies. That students who can manage their financial wisely tend to have better focus, lower anxiety, and greater academic success. It supports not only financial independence but also emotional stability and self-efficacy. Okay, next. Okay, how important an academic life? Financial well-being directly influence student performance, stress level, and the other attention. Managing finance wisely and support academic focus and reduce barrier to completion, promotion, overall personal growth in college and beyond. In here, the main is for many young people in young generation, specifically in student college, especially student financial pressure are constant source of worry. Proper financial management support academic focus and reduce barrier to completion and assess financial well-being contribute to holistic student development, of course, such as academically, so mentally, and other is socially. Okay, next. Okay, about current challenge student face, that many students struggle with student debt, so other insufficient financial literacy. So, and the other unexpected expense, this challenge impact academic performance and mental health. So, highlighting the urgent need for effective financial education and accessible support service within campuses. What the mean today that a young generation, so so many students still struggle with debt, so low financial literacy, so unexpected expense. These challenges directly impact their mental health and academic outcome. Therefore, the institution must provide accessible financial education and support system that prepare students to manage these realities effectively. Okay, next. Okay, next is about measuring financial well-being. That assessment involves evaluating financial behavior, so attitude and outcome survey, financial literacy test, and spending pattern help institution identify needs and tailor program to improve student financial health. That, as we know, how about financial well-being measuring, however many students, to improve financial well-being, we must first know how to measure it. So this involves assessing not just financial outcome, but also behavior, attitude, and confidence. Survey, literacy test, and spending pattern analysis can help universities identify the specific need of their student and tailor financial education program accordingly. Okay, next. About money mindset and behavioral shift. Okay, next. For the first, we must understanding about money mindset. If we can know about financial well-being and then money mindset, what is money mindset? Money mindset is set of belief and attitude individual heart about money, shifting from scarcity to empowerment, encourage proactive financial decision. Developing a positive money mindset is crucial for building confidence and overcoming limiting financial belief in higher education setting, and specifically in young generation, maybe in here like millennial generation or Gen Z. And as a student, we must know that money mindset is integrated with financial well-being. Okay, next. Understanding limiting belief, that many students have a belief that restrict financial growth, such as fear of budgeting or doubt about financial control, recognize this mental barrier is the first step toward transformation. That a money mindset is essential. How we think them and feel about money. It influences every financial decision we make, from how we spend to how we save and invest. When students adopt a positive money mindset, they are more empowered to take control of their finance and future opportunities. That a money student unconsciously help limiting beliefs such as I'm not good with money or budgeting means privacy. This belief can restrict their growth and confidence. Recognizing this mental barrier is the first step toward building a healthier and more empowered relationship with money. Okay, next. Okay, next is about strategies for mindset transformation. That shifting from scarcity to abundance mindset involves education, reflection, and practical tools, encouraging positive self-talk, goal setting, and gradual habit change empower students to embrace financial confidence and opportunity. It means that shifting from a scarcity mindset to an abundant mindset requires both education and self-reflection, encouraging positive self-talk, setting achievable financial goals, and making small habit change, and help students gradually build confidence and discipline in managing money. Okay, next. And then, so how changing attitude toward debt and spending, specifically for young generation today, that student attitude toward debt and spending are evolving with increased awareness of long-term financial consequence, encouraging responsible borrowing and mindful spending helps students build sustainable financial habits in based on understanding long-term and priorities. Essential expense support healthier economic decision. That how about changing attitude about debt and spending? Student today attitude toward debt and spending are changing. That today students are increasingly aware of the long-term effect of debt, promoting responsible borrowing and mindful spending have them priorities need over one, so understand long term and make sustainable choice for their future financial stability. Okay, next. And empowerment through positive financial attitude. That developing a positive financial attitude empowers students to take control of their economic future. Embracing an empowerment mindset foster confidence, so reduce anxiety and promote proactive financial decision. This shift enable healthier relationship with money, so encouraging responsible spending, so saving and investment behavior essential for a lifelong financial well-being. That as we know that a positive financial attitude is empowering, that it fosters self-confidence, reduce anxiety, and encourage proactive decision by viewing money as a tool for opportunity rather than stress. So student can develop responsible saving, spending, and investing behavior that lasts a lifetime. Okay, next. How about budgeting and expense tracking? There, as we know that effective budgeting allows students to allocate funds wisely and avoid overspending. Teaching expense tracking empowers students to monitor their cash flow, identify unnecessary costs, and adjust spending habits. That skill are foundation for achieving financial stability during and after college. Of course, if the student in campus and after school, that must be effective for the education. So practically, not about just learning that must doing. Effective budgeting is the foundation of financial control that teaching students how to track expense plan monthly budget. So a review cash flow empowerment them to identify unnecessary costs and redirect money toward meaningful goals. This habit build discipline and resilience in everyday life. Okay, next. Okay, next about finding a common financial pitfall. Students must be educated on common financial pitfalls such as high interest debt, impulsive purchase, and neglecting credit scores. Raising awareness and providing practical strategies help prevent debt risk, so ensuring better financial outcome and reduce stress. As we know that many financial difficulties arise from common mistakes, impulsive spending, neglecting saving, or ignoring credit management. Awareness and education are key, helping students anticipate and avoid these pitfalls to healthier long-term outcome and less financial stress. Okay, next. Okay, next about building a smart money habit for the future. Okay, next. Okay, for the first smart money habit, maybe there are some of steps. For the first is track your expense and set budget. So next, second is save first, spend later, and third is invest early and wisely. Four is avoid digital spending trap. For smart money habit in here is track your include for essential, track your expense, so save first before spending, invest early, avoid digital spending trap. This a simple but powerful practice from the backbone of financial independence and stability for young people. Okay, next. Okay, next, developing smart money habit. Building smart money habit involve regular budgeting, saving, and mindful spending. This habit cultivate financial discipline and reduce impulsive decision. Consistent practice of this behavior lays the foundation of long-term financial security and independence for students. As we know that building this habit takes consistency, regular budgeting, disciplined saving, and conscious spending decision lead to lasting financial security. The goals is not just to manage money, but to make money work for you. Okay, next. Okay, budgeting and expense tracking. That effective budgeting allows students to allocate funds wisely and avoid overspending. Teaching expense tracking empower students to monitor their cash flow, identify unnecessary costs, and adjust spending habits. The skill are foundation for achieving financial stability during and after college. Okay, next. Okay, let me see about the picture. The picture describe about how much money do Indonesians save. In case today, I will we will discussion about in Indonesian case that how much money do Indonesians save and about pay later use plan in Indonesian and specifically in young generation today that from the picture this illustrate how much money Indonesians save from their income based on data from Statcast involve 500 respondents. The findings show that the majority of Indonesians save very little or none at all. 33% save less than 10% of their income. So 21% do not saving anything, and 21% others save between 10% and 30%, and not only only a small portion. Maybe in here is 6% manage to save more than 15% of their income. And then for this picture can highlight a low saving rate among Indonesians, suggesting that many people either have limited disposable income or lack strong saving habit, or the other this reflect the need to strengthen financial literacy, maybe promote budgeting awareness, and the other encourage long-term financial planning across the population, and specifically maybe for young generation. Okay, the second picture about pay later usage plan. There's about a pay later usage plan among consumer in Indonesia, that showing how people intend to use buy now pay later service in the future, that according from the data is 40 of respondents can to increase their use of pay later service, and the other maybe 45% plan to maintain their current level of usage, and only 6% intend to reduce their usage. In this picture, we know that nearly half of consumers expect to rely more on pay later in the future. They indicate a growing dependent on installment-based digital payment. This trend suggests that financial education and borrowing awareness are becoming increasingly important to prevent debt accumulation among young generation or young consumer. Okay, next. Okay, from the data from the Sun Life Indonesian survey in July 2025, among Generation Z, only 40% feel financially secure compared to 63% of baby boomers. And then maybe to 50-50% from the CBC and the Financial Fitness Index. Also, that 25% of young people have emergency fund, up from 70% previously, and 38% of young people say their main goals for saving is for lifestyle purpose. Okay, next. Okay, and then how integrate from financial well-being or money mindset for young generation to digital tools and financial empowerment that leveraging digital platform and apps and has student financial tracking, budgeting, and the other planning capability that technology facilitates personalized insight and real-time management, empowering students to make informed decisions and build sustainable habit efficient. In here, we know that technology plays a crucial role in empowering or improving financial literacy today. The digital platform and apps make it easier for students to budgeting, so tracking spending and plan investment. These tools provide real-time insight and personalized feedback, empowering young people to make informed financial choices. Okay, next. Embracing digital tools for financial empowerment. That digitalization offers innovative tools to enhance financial literacy and management, mobile apps, budgeting software, so the other and online resources make tracking expense and planning financial accessible and efficient, leveraging technology support inform decision making and empower students to take control of their financial future. It means that the digitalization of finance make learning more interactive and accessible. From budgeting apps to financial learning platform, students can now manage money more efficiently. So leveraging this innovation help bridging the gap between financial knowledge and real world application. Okay, next. About creating sustainable budgeting and saving practice that developing consistent budgeting and saving routine is key to financial health. Encouraging a regular expense, so monitoring and goals-oriented saving build discipline, enabling students to handle unexpected costs and invest in future opportunities. So we know that consistency is key to financial sustainability. By developing a routine of saving and reviewing expense regularly, students will discipline and prepare for unexpected challenge. This prep them for both maybe for academic and real work financial demand and in practically. Okay, next. And then next is about preparing for long-term financial stability. For long-term stability depend on early habit formation, inclusive management, investment, awareness, enrichment, planning basic education student on future planning, cultivate resilience and financial security beyond their academic years. In here, the main is but long-term financial stability requires early preparation for managing debt responsibility to understanding basic investment and retirement planning. Early education is this area helps students will not only short-term, maybe for long-term security, but long-life financial resilience. Okay, next. Okay, and then the last discussion about impact on student outcome and future success in young generation and specifically in student in college from the financial well-being for the future and money mindset can impact on student outcome and future success. Effective financial education correlation with improved academic performance, reduce dropout rate, and greater financial independence post-graduation. Maybe for the work, students with some many skills are better prepared for career challenge and personal financial goals. Okay, maybe until here my presentation. After, okay, thank you. After,
Okay.
and the next is Q&A.
Okay, thank you so much for your presentation, Miss Erlinda. And we have 3 questions from participants already read in the Zoom chat. For first question, why do so many young people prefer using pay later or digital credit instead of traditional saving?
Okay, thank you for the first question. Why do so many young people prefer using pay later or digital credit instead of traditional saving? Maybe in many young people today value instant gratification or instant work, the desire to enjoy experience or project immediately, like FOMO or impulsive buying. That digital credit service like pay later are convenient, fast, and integrated to e-commerce platform, which is make them more appealing than saving first. That, however, maybe this behavior often lead to impulsive spending or impulsive buying the product and long-term debt risk. And then the key is to encourage responsible digital consumption where technology support not replace financial discipline, then integrated for pay later or credit card to e-commerce that so many high risk for impulsive buying, and then for the firstly is saving. Okay, next.
Thank you. And what are the main reasons young people struggle to save regularly even when they have income?
Okay, thank you for the second question. What are the main reasons young people struggle to save regularly even when they have income? Maybe my opinion is there are some reason. For the first, low income relative to lifestyle cost. Like impulsive buying or impulsive spending, many young people live paycheck to paycheck. So the other maybe social influence, yeah, exposure to influencer culture and social media increase pressure to spend for appearance. So the other may be lack of financial goals without clear reason to save. Spending feels more rewarding than saving. And then maybe for the firstly not about saving but about spending. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And then the last question, how does social media influence the financial behavior of the younger generation?
Okay, maybe the last question is how integration about social media and financial behavior today, and specifically for young generation that social media create about opportunities and risks. Maybe there are opportunity and risk, the challenge for financial behavior. And one hand, it's promote about financial education to creator who share budgeting or investment tips, but the other it drives consumption pressure, FOMO, or impulsive, unrealistic lifestyle and the other expectation. And then we must so clear, yeah, and must be think firstly about social media and marketing. We can increase our we can improve financial behavior for positive behavior money gitu. Many young people priority apply spending over financial stability, or and then financial well-being is a result for all. Okay, thank you, Ms. Novita.
Okay, thank you so much for your answer. And we will go to the next speaker for Mr. Associate Professor of Department of Economy and Security for Professor Kirlo Odaksky. The time is yours. Thank you.
Yes, hello. I'm really glad to take a part in this interesting conference. It's my first experience during the last 7 years. That's why I'm sorry maybe about something not modern, not actual information, but no, don't worry about it. I activated my own new knowledge, and I will try to do my not so long lecture very interesting. But first of all, I need to say that it's so difficult when we can speak after so interesting lecture from my colleagues about theoretical and technical instruments, about what we can do, how we can use our financial of money habits or our behavior, how we can change our implements, how we can change our understanding why we need to do it. And of course, financial thinking, it's really important for all us, not only for people, it's not important, not only for students, it's important for our country, it's important for business, and it's important for region, especially when we speak about Indonesia, when we have different states with different level of development. That's why when we can to improve level of financial behavior, our citizenship, we can use their money for development our countries. That's why let's try to look at my presentation. Of course, my name, let me introduce myself. My name is Kirill Gdansky. I'm from Ukraine too. That's why it's really interesting when I can hear my colleagues from our country. And of course, it's really interesting about foreign experience of different country, for example, like Indonesia. I work at Ukrainian University of Custom and Finance, and it's very interesting department because we have a new specialty for us, like economical security. And of course, when we speak about money behavior, when we speak about different topics, especially when spoke about it first lecture, it's money defense. We need to understand that when we speak about modern instruments, we need to have a modern knowledge about how we can defend our money and our financial. First of all, when we speak about changing our behavior, our financial thinking, our mindset, we need to understand what we can do when we have some crisis in our situation. First of all, it's historical crises about Great Depression, when we want or don't want to do it, but we need to change. People who lived in their period just need to change their money and financial behavior, because it's not can be again. That's why people just understand, oh my God, it's a crisis, I don't want to do it again. That's why I need to think about how I can improve my knowledge, how I can improve my financial mindset, what I can use for my future with a lot of level of income. Of course, it was almost 100 years ago, but we can remember another financial crisis and 2008, when we speak about really difficult economic crisis, and we change our financial behavior, and we need to remember it all our life. Of course, first of all, we need to understand that our financial behavior, it's a fundament like our culture, like our social behavior, like our opportunity in our country which we have. That's why we have a lot of difference from Ukraine and Indonesia, but I don't want to stay more attention about it, because it's really interesting, but I just want to speak a lot of information about different topics. For example, that we have now. Ukrainians now have really unique challenges, because we have a big problem in our country. We have a big problem with our situation. That's why we can be like experience for other countries, how they can defend their territory, their people, and of course their financial instruments or financial resources. I have 26 years of experience like a teacher. That's why I always speak that first of all, which we need to do, it's about education. Education is the most factor for key success, and that's why we need always speak about education like a first step which we need to do in our country for improve or develop our financial knowledge. When we speak about Ukraine experience, it's really interesting, because we don't have a lot of level of trust for our governments and banks. That's why we have a big problem about this situation when we speak about bank resources. So not so many people want to do this instrument, want to use these instruments in their future. When we speak about country like Indonesia, I never was in Indonesia, but I read some information about this country, about economic, and now I heard information from different instruments which used in Indonesia, and I understand that it's really interesting plot or interesting country for which they use different digital platforms, mobile application. That's why people in different studying process just can improve their financial mindset. How we can change our financial thinking, or how we can change our situation for better. First of all, I don't want to repeat some information which we heard from different my college. That's why I will to change my presentation which I have. That's why I just want to speak with you about new information, my vision about this problem, and I hope you can understand me. First of all, when we speak about tools, I think we need to change our psychological situation. That's why we need just take a level of trust, take more stability, more economic instruments for different people. For example, for students at the school, we need to use other training between the students at the university. When we start this situation, we need to understand, we need to adaptate our program for people who will be our students. After that, we need to speak about financial diary, and of course, we need to use modern digital platforms. It was really interesting about machine learning in the financial knowledge. That's why it's really cool, because now we use our AI during all our lives. That's why we can not use it when we speak about financial mindset. And I think it's a really useful instrument for improve our situation for better. What about economic impact of healthy financial habits? Yes, I like this definition, like as healthy, because when we speak about healthy food, we understand that food, it's more good, it's better for our body, for our health, for our future. That's why we cannot use, why we only use effective optimization, good, better. I think healthy financial habits, it's a really good definition, and we can use it during all our life, because we can understand we cannot use only, for example, all money to save for the future. That's why we cannot use like spend all money by day. That's why it's not effective program. That's why we need to change and combine this situation and look some healthy financial habits. For example, the deep implementation of healthy financial habits contributes to financial stability, to poverty reduction, investment growth. That's why it's really important for all countries. And when I prepared my lecture, one countries in the world, United States of America, United Arab Emirates, or China or India, didn't have any stop program by studying, by education of financial mindset. That's why we need to continue it, but we need to use different basic principles. For example, first of all, it's living within your means. Second, it's regular saving. We just want to do it when we have some stat information from one of lecture. Today, we can look to that it's not so many percent of people do their saving money, and it's no good, because more than 50% at your statistic in Indonesian people didn't save money more than 10% from their income. That's why it's not so good amount. That's why I think we need to change it for better, because we have maybe 30, maybe 40% of our incomes, which we can to use for our future outcomes. Okay, of course, I want to speak about Ukraine's speciality. I want to speak about some different situations which we have all this period, but I don't want to speak about it now because I understand how it's so difficult for you. And if you want to speak about it, you can send me a question, and of course, I will speak about it more detail and give you more information about it. But of course, Ukraine, it's really young country with really interesting situation of development. And now we have a big problem, but we have a more power to be better, and we need to have a new power from other countries to help us in this situation. What I can speak about evolution of financial thinking in Ukraine. First of all, we have gone from survival in the condition of hyperinflation and integration with modern digital practices and development of adaptive skills in condition of external and internal shocks. Today, the image of financial responsible, adaptive and technological savvy use is being formed. That's why I think Ukraine can be like example for different countries, because we have a really modern digital platform, for example, Monobank, for example, other bank application which we use in our life, but in different countries, people just cannot use it because they just don't have it. But I think we can speak about some difficult problems which we can, in our way of the formation of healthy financial habits. First of all, about low financial literacy among young and elderly. Yes, it's all about education. I spoke about it, I will be speak about it in the future, because learning during all our life, it's really important instrument for develop our resources, for develop ourselves, for develop our country, because we cannot build country with people who cannot write, who cannot give more scientific researches or any other. That's why financial literacy, it's a big problem for our country. That's why we need to change it. Another situation about district of financial institution and the state. Of course, it's a big problem when we didn't have trust or high level of trust for our financial institutions. It's really cool when you have a really good bank in your country and you know that your money cannot be disappear from this bank. But when you didn't have this situation, you just need to give more safety. If you want to be more, you need to have more information, you need to have more instruments for you, because you just have only one way to save your money. Another problem about orientation to experience or desire to live now. Yes, of course, we use it really often when we have some our outcomes, when we just viewed some interesting, some colorful, or something which we maybe wanted, but when we buy it, we come back to our home and ask myself why we bought it. And it's really big problem for us. That's why we need to have a difficult practical situation for understanding this situation for better. The first problem about economical stability, when we have a country with a high level of inflation, with a war like Ukraine, we have a big problem more than country with stability economic system, with high level of GDP or any other economical index. And the last, what I want to speak about, the main problems, it's limited access to modern financial instruments in rural and developing regions. Yes, of course, when we have open economy, when we have open application instruments, we just can use it every day, but we have some problem about it. That's why we need to first of all give this possibility for our citizenship, but another way we need to help our enterprises, our business, not to be alone without money. Because, for example, when we speak about some people in Ukraine, what do you like better? For example, some regional enterprises of BMW, of course, citizenship speak about BMW or Amazon, or for example, Apple, or for example, modern foreign company. That's why it's a problem for our business in the future, and it can be a problem for our economy in future too. What I can say new information to ADD information from our latest speakers. First of all, about scenario, what we can do. About education, I will speak. That's why I want to give more information about optimization. It was really interesting lecture about machine learning. That's why I think it's a good instrument for automatization our process about money, about financial habits, about healthy financial behavior, our financial instruments which we have now. Always when we speak about some resources which we need to do, I always speak where we can take money for this situation. I want to start these slides from the end, for example, from social project. I really like crowdfunding. I really like crowdfunding project. I really like different fundraising instruments in all economical periods, not about only financial education. We can use it all our life, but in our country we don't have a good level of education. That's why not a lot of people know about this instrument, like effective instruments for business, for your develop your knowledge, or for develop your countryside, of your develop for something other which you want to do, but you didn't have money for it. Of course, it's really interesting. The second part, it's about international funds, which can help us. For example, our webinar, it's a good example about this situation. We can exchange our knowledge, we can speak, we can communicate, we can give each other our experience, our knowledge, our lecture, our instruments. That's why I think it's not a big problem for all us just speaking about it, and it's not so expensive for all us. And of course, we can use government grants, but it's not so effective instruments in other countries, not only in Ukraine. But yes, of course, all government have different grants from improve your financial habits, for improve your financial knowledge, and it was really interesting. About private partnership, it's interesting instrument, but in our country we didn't have a high level of economy. That's why we didn't have a lot of this example of private partnership. But in different countries like Europe, like in the European Union, for example, in Swiss, for example, in France, for example, in Italy, they have a lot of private partnership about it. For example, cooperation with University of Business, cooperation with University of Local Administration of the citizen, of the city, or something other. That's why it's really interesting process. We use it in our country too. This process are not so high. That's why we can just heard information from different countries about how they can do it, and of course we can use it in our life. Yes, it's important slide for me, because I want that our auditory can understand that when we speak about healthy financial habits, we didn't speak about only you. We cannot understand that your life will be better. No, we cannot speak only for you. We can speak when you have. a healthy financial habits, your regional will be great because you can pay more taxes, you can buy more products. That's why you can give more opportunities, you can give more financial instruments for your region, for your state. And it's really important because we need to understand that we like one family when we speak about effective financial habits, because when you have more money, we just can improve it in our enterprise, in our citizenship. For example, when we speak about negative experience of this situation, we could speak about COVID. We can speak about how it was change our habits, how it can be difficult, and we can look at the United States of America, which didn't have a good experience about this problem. That's why we cannot repeat it in our life. Okay, okay. Another slides which I want to speak in our conference, it's about what we need to do in this situation. First of all, I am people who really like project management. I am a people who always use strategic indicators in my life, in my business life, in my learning process. That's why I think we need to have some strategy about it. Without any plans, without any programs, all our results cannot be useful for our future. That's why I think we need to have some objects in our process of improve our financial habits. First of all, it's knowledge and information, third, financial stability, tax revenue, and of course, investment growth. What about task? Integration of financial education. Let's change our knowledge together, increase responsibility through special training and campaigns, and use technologies for access of education and financial service. More important for me, it's like indicators, how we can use to do it earlier. First of all, it's about dynamics of population of poverty level. Our situation in our country will be better, that more people have more money like incomes or have money like saving. It's a really good index for our situation in country. Amount of money of deposit accounts, it's another indication. Dynamics of saving growth and reduction of debt problems. And of course, I like the country's human resources development index, HDI index. As for me, it's really complex indicators for all our economic life in our country or in our region. That's why when we improve our financial habits, when we have the more effectivity with our money, with our actives, we can change our life in our country for better. When I prepared my lecture, I want to speak with you about different problems when we have strategy implementation in our country, but we have this information on the slides. That's why if you have a question about it, I, of course, will be great to speak with you about the situation, because we need to understand we always have problem with implementation of different strategy, and we will have a problem with implementation strategy about financial habits too. In my presentation, I view information about, as for me, about successful education programs in different countries. They are different, so they have a lot of difference. They have from different spheres of economics. That's why it was interesting for me, and I think it will be interesting for you and for your improving this in the future. Okay, what about just moment? Yes, so I have a reference about my lecture, and of course I want to finish my lecture about like motivation speech. For example, money, it's your future. Money, it's your power. Money, it's your freedom. I really like phrase like money, it's a freedom. Yes, money, it's a freedom for all us. Money, it's a freedom for you. Money, it's a freedom for your country, because you can buy not only weapons like in Ukraine, you can buy or you can develop your school, you can build your new hospital, because money, it's a freedom. That's why thank you for your attention. I have contact information about me. That's why if you have some question, I will glad to answer it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for your presentation, Professor. And we have some questions from participants. First, what small boost meaningful action can students start doing today to build a stronger financial mindset for the future? Thank you.
First of all, thank you for your question. It's a really big problem for our students. They didn't want to ask anything. That's why when I looked at the chat and I view that you have a question for the lecture, it's something crazy for me. It's something impossible for our teacher's life. First of all, you need to have a fundamental knowledge about different topics. For example, you cannot just tomorrow will have a healthy financial habits. You just need to understand what you have a goal, for example, during next year. For example, what you want to buy, or where you want to come, or what you want to have for your family. After that, you need to have some strategy for outcomes your money in the future. That's why you can have different priorities for your items which you want to buy in this year. For example, what you need now and what you can stay to the future period. And I think it's a good process, and I really like project management. That's why when we speak about effective business, we speak about effective person. Person who have a good habits about their resources, they have a healthy financial habits too.
Okay, thank you. And then the second question, how can shifting our money mindset contribute not only to personal financial stability, but also to overall well-being and happiness? Thank you.
It's really, thank you for this question. Yes, it's a really difficult question for me because it's more psychological question, not economic. But yes, we always, when we spend our money, we want to be happy. We want to have more happiness for all us. But I think we always need to cancel or stop our emotion when we have some situation about spending our money. That's why what I can say. I just want to have to give you some advice about it. When you how you can do it. You just can just think what you need to have, not only for you, for your society in the near future. And after that, you can have personal stability. If you speak about a country with high level of economy, it's really good because we have level of incomes for all us. When we speak about country with not high level of economy, we need to have of 2 works, 3 works. For example, my friend from Gambia, he is a teacher, but after that he is a barber and he is a builder. That's why it's a big problem. That's why if you have a good incomes, you just need to understand what different instrument you can use for more stability incomes in your for the future. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And then the last question, what strategy can help us stay consistent in building good financial habit despite economy uncertainty or peer pressure? Thank you.
I think we can speak in this situation about short-term strategy because it was really useful. It was strategy which we can use when we speak about really difficult situation, when we don't have some stability situation, for example, in our country. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much for your answer. I guess no one else asking again. Yeah, before I close this event, for all participants, please open your camera. I will take a picture on the count of three for documentation. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, another one. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Thank you for your kind cooperation. Finally, we come to the end of webinar today. We would like to thank you for our speaker for the wonderful information and sharing your knowledge. We hope this information will be beneficial for all participants. At least we have more collaboration in the future. The webinar for today and here. We hope to see you soon. Thank you and have a nice day. Thank you so much and goodbye.